Welcome to Youth Diversion's webinar on potential exposure to online predators. My name is Joanna Conrad, and today we will be covering the signs and the risks and how you as a parent can help your child. Social media has been described by experts as the new drug that is affecting relationships, friendships, body image, self-esteem, and more. Children and teens can be trusting of someone they have connected with on the internet by liking the same thing and appearing to have much in common. They claim to know them because they are social media friends. It can be hard for youth of all ages to grasp that this is not friendship and that online predators have easy access to a variety of information about their victims. One of the ways that we got here is the fact that kids are exposed to a number of things online, both good and bad. We can't say that the internet and digital devices are entirely bad. There are good things to it. It connects individuals to resources, to other people, to social networks, to various events that are happening in the community. So there are good things. However, there are also bad things. We can look at it to that of having a car. It brings us from point A to point B. It's a means to an end. But with that being said, we can encounter negative things along the way or dangerous things along the way. Kids oftentimes can expose themselves online without meaning to, share too much information, and potentially put them in harm's way of predators looking to extract information from them for a negative reason or potentially harm them in another way. We need to provide kids with information so that they can make safe decisions online to potentially steer them away from negative people who are looking to harm them. Predators can take many forms. They can be anyone of any socioeconomic background, any social class, any ethnic background, race, whomever. They can also be both male and female. Typically, predators are oftentimes males. It is not uncommon for males to pretend to be a female online to befriend a young person. Oftentimes, they use that as a tactic to engage in a conversation, to get to know them, and ultimately use that information against them in the long run. Females can also be predators. However, in these cases, they are oftentimes victims themselves of human trafficking and are typically victimizing another person in an effort to either appease the trafficker or to move up the ranks. I oftentimes ask parents whether or not they've had the talk with their children. And I'm not referring to the talk that you think I might be referring to when it comes to the birds and the bees and perhaps conversations that we had with our parents when we were younger and their concerns about our upbringing. I'm talking about the talk when it comes to digital devices, the internet, and ultimately setting up our children for a positive interaction with those devices and what they're doing online. We know that sharing inappropriate information and pictures online is dangerous. There are many consequences to sharing inappropriate pictures, and oftentimes can lead a young person to be exposed to a predator. Typically, predators find young people through hashtags, typically sexual hashtags, that allow them to find an individual, start to get to know them, especially if their profile is public, and engage in a conversation with them through direct messaging. At this time, they typically find out their weak areas, and they want to fill those areas in an effort to gain that young person's trust and friendship. Predators look for areas that need filling in a young person, especially in an emotional capacity. Typically, they're looking for cracks to fill. So they'll fill those with love, attention, affection, perhaps false promises of a better future, whatever it is that that young person might be lacking. Typically, they get this information from an individual by scrolling through their posts, looking through their newsfeed, and getting an understanding of what it is that that young person needs and desires. But in addition to that, they can also get this information from having a direct conversation with them in a direct message. So if a young person, for example, shares with a predator, "Oh, I'm so upset with my parents. They grounded me today." The predator can use that information to their advantage by then siding with the young person and saying, "Yeah, can you believe those parents? Ugh, like how unfair can they possibly be to do that to you? Why don't we get together and go hang out and complain about them?" It's important for parents to be aware of the amount of time that their child spends online. And where are they spending their time online? Is it in private? Are they being secretive about the amount of time that they're spending and who they're communicating with? These are all things that parents should be mindful of. Parents can use this as a teachable moment to have with their child when it comes to the apps that they're using, the conversations that they're having, and even the things that they're seeing online. We encourage parents to befriend their kids online, but limit potentially over-commenting on their pictures or their posts, and also be mindful of making embarrassing remarks on various things that they might put on there, because as much as you want to be on there and to perhaps make your presence known, your child does not want it. And it's much easier for you to be aware of what's going on, but doing so in quiet and having those conversations to the side and asking your child, what are you doing online? Tell me about what you're doing and how this app works. Explain to me why you're engaging in this conversation, or let's talk about what you're seeing, and make it a teachable moment, not only for yourself, but for your child. Well, it can be an unsafe forum, but with that being said, it can also be a safe space for kids to go and communicate and hang out online. We don't want parents to be terrified of social media or the online world. One way to do this is by having a conversation with your child about privacy settings and ensuring that they set their privacy to private. Oftentimes, apps like Facebook and Instagram and others come automatically with a public setting, which means anyone can access that profile and any information that's posted. Parents should walk their kids through those privacy settings and explain why it's important to set those privacy settings to private and do it with them. It's also important for parents to make sure that their geographical location is turned off so that it cannot be detected by an unwanted follower. One thing we haven't discussed is chat rooms. Parents should be aware that most games and apps have a chat room setting. We allow our kids to play games online and think that they're relatively safe. However, oftentimes parents are not aware that there is a chat room setting associated with most of these apps or games, and they can be very dangerous. Ultimately, we have no way of knowing who the individuals in the chat room are, how many of them there are, where they are in terms of their geographical location, but furthermore, any history of conversation can be very easily deleted, making it a very unsafe space for kids to participate in. Given all of the complications that can be found on the World Wide Web, as a parent, you can model good online behavior at home. Household rules and guidelines for the entire family, such as the following, are always helpful. Don't give out personal information online. Don't befriend people you do not know. Don't meet up with a stranger who you met online. Don't share your password. Think twice before downloading or installing software. Be careful before making a purchase online. Be sure to sign out of public computers. Be cautious when using chat rooms that games offer. Never send or respond to rude messages. Never give out any information that identifies your location, including an event that you might be attending. Youth Diversion receives referrals from parents, schools, community partners, and the police. We offer a number of different programs that address various subject matters, especially pertaining to social media, online safety, and excessive gaming. We encourage parents or concerned caregivers to contact us for additional information or to find out how they can enroll their child into one of our programs. Thank you for participating in Youth Diversion's webinar on potential exposure to online predators. I encourage you to look through our website for additional information and to stop by our office to inquire about support services.